Hey, my people, what's going on? This is Major TV. Let's talk. I want to talk about an interesting article I've been reading and keeping up with. And this particular state trooper from Louisiana, Carl Cavalier, I believe, he's a state trooper for Louisiana State Police, and he has wrote a novel about police brutality as well as addressed the killing of Ronald Green that happened 2 years ago in 2019, and how the supervising department handled the killing of this um brother in reference to giving these officers, state troopers, a slap on the wrist. He spoke out to several news channels locally as well as newspapers and whatnot. And I wanted I wanted to share this story with you because it's deep, and I have to really commend this young brother for speaking out and breaking that blue shield of silence. Louisiana trooper says firing is retaliation for speaking out on black man's death after arrest. A state trooper in Louisiana who publicly criticized the department's role in violent 2019 traffic stop of a black man who died vowed Friday to fight for his job after being notified of his pending termination. Carl Cavalier, 33, who has been Louisiana State Police since 2014, was quoted by a local TV outlet that this summer as saying the department was involved in the cover up of a death of Ronald Green. Cavalier, who is black, also called troopers who arrested Green murders during interview with a news outlet. Cavalier said he's being retaliated against for his comments and for writing a fictional book under pseudonym about experience of being a black police officer. I swore and took an oath to do exactly what I'm doing, said Cavalier, who considered himself a whistleblower. I'm going to pursue my job with everything in me. If the justice system works like it's supposed to, if the appeal process works how it's supposed to, I believe I'll have my job back. Cavalier said he's been on paid leave since August. He shared a letter with NBC News dated October 8th signed by Louisiana State Police Superintendent Lamar A. Davis, notified him of his potential termination within 45 days. The letter cited for public statement, large department dissemination of information seeking publicity, conduct unbecoming an officer. Cavalier said he felt betrayed by his department. We all have a duty and role to be a solution to the problem we are facing instead of just enabling and allowing it to be, he said. Cavalier also filed a lawsuit last month that his supervisor discriminated against him. He said, a, a state police spokeswoman said Friday in a statement, Trooper Cavalier received decision of the appointing authority to move forward with termination based on an administrative investigation that revealed he violated several departmental policies. It should be noted that our disciplinary administrative process is not finalized and Cavalier remains employed at this time. Agency declined to comment on Cavalier's lawsuit. Green, 49, was arrested by a state trooper with the state police May 10, 2019, after a high-speed chasing in Monroe, in which his vehicle topped at 100 miles per hour. State police released video a year later, but only after Associated Press critics publicized the body cam footage that showed Green being stunned, punched, dragged, and left without medical assistance for about 9 minutes. Cavalier told WBRZ in late June, we still have murders in my eyes on the job. We still have murderers in my eyes on the job. Guys who receive a slap on the wrist for their roles in Ronald Green incident are unpunished, patrolling the streets and left on the job. Cavalier told WWL-TV in August about his feelings after learning of Ilshore Green's arrest. To I guess it created like a shock to me, created like a level of disappointment that I'm still finding out. The fact that these guys are actively covering up a murder, said Cavalier. Even Collins, President Dublin, even Collins, even, excuse me, I said even. Sorry about that. Eugene Collins, president of NAACP Baton Rouge branch, said the way the state police are handling Cavalier's case should be considered and is worsening their relationship with the community. He tried to provide transparency that he felt the agency wasn't giving. Collins said the guy stood up for troopers and what's right. This sends us a step back. Davis released 9 body and dash cam videos of Green's arrest in late May. State police initially argued troopers' use of force was justified, awful but lawful, as Ringer officer described it, but did not open an administrative investigation until 474 days after Green's death. Troopers initially told family that Green died from impact after crashing into a tree. FBI opened a criminal investigation to the arrest, is working with prosecutors with the Western District of Louisiana and Civil Rights Division of Justice Department of Justice. Master Trooper Chris Collier, who was involved in Green's arrest, died in a single field crash shortly after he learned he would be fired for his role. Trooper Dakota DeMoss was fired on June 4th. State Trooper said Trooper Corey Young served a 50-hour stint according to state police. Numbers for DeMoss and Yoke could not immediately be found Friday. Attorneys listed representing them in a federal lawsuit did not immediately respond to requests for comment on their behalf. Green's autopsy identified causes that as cocaine agitated, delirium. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing this word. I know what it means. I know what how to pronounce it is not coming out right with me. Delirium, complicated by motor vehicle collision, physical struggle, inflicted head injury, and restraint. Cavalier said seeing images of troopers involved in Green's arrest makes his stomach churn. Ronald Green could have been me. Ronald Green's mother could have been my mother. Cavalier said, this is not the oath that I swore to uphold, to watch my colleagues be black men. Reading this article for the third time, all I can hear is how this black man who worked for the state police in Louisiana seen himself as Ronald Green, seen his mom and other black people in Ronald Green's shoes. May he rest in power. And if everybody know about the backstory about why I'm covering this again, it's because I dropped the story already when it first came out, right? And I spoke about it and what have you, but to hear a police officer, state police officer, speak out about the injustice and how superiors of Louisiana State Police Department upheld officers killing this black person speak volumes for this young man speaking out. And the actions that the department's taken against him clearly shows how red-handed the system is in reference to upholding the violence against people of color and punishing anybody, especially somebody that's black speaking up. The cover up, the lies, the holding back of information, the actual brutal death the pictures, the actual video is gross in interpretation, is gross in watching, is gross in just even talking about it. And to know that these officers was trying to get away with this, knowing the department, the state trooper, the department was trying to get away with this. And because of the Associated Press, I believe, exposing it and what have you, the footage and whatnot, that they had to speak about it. The family had been pushing, Green family had been pushing for a real investigation, for finding out what really happened. They couldn't find out it was the unfortunate, the usual. Officers lying about killing a black person. This was a black person, a police officer, one that had a badge that was part of the Blue Shield. And they say he violated Blue Shield Code of Silence. The world we in is obvious. We know that the system is against us. But I really have to say that in knowing this and us trying to fight back, I have to commend Carl Cavalier for even speaking up and just risking it all. This should be an example for all people, not just in law enforcement and institutions and corporations and churches or what have you. We have to expose what is going on, how we are being not just killed, but discriminated against. We have to reveal the obvious racism that we have become complacent with, gullible to, and just subjected to, like looking the other way. This have to change. I really commend this brother for speaking out. He never do that. You know his life is at risk. You know that they look at it about to fire him. This is example, and this example have to really let us know that there's still hope. That people out here, whether they're officer or not, are speaking up. But this is also sad because we know how police have treated black people and people of color. But they have this officer and other officers and people that's supportive for speak out, to speak volumes. So I just wanted to share this article with you. This is the first time I did this. It's a lot of reading I see. I know I have to read the whole thing, but I just wanted y'all to get the gist of what's going on. I have the article in the description and what have you. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this. I think this is definitely big. This is something we need to keep talking about. We need more people to step up, these police departments, sheriff departments, and really address what's really going on. Because our people are being violated in every kind of way. So thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate checking this audio out. Thank you for just supporting the channel. So y'all stay focused, stay on cold, and just be black.